the sloppy Joe of Philly
Okay.
cheesesteaks.
We're playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and she's like, "What is this about?" Going back to the burger part. Hey everybody, welcome back to Bread and Burgers. It's been a while. I think Jonas and I have been respectively busy. And so it's we like to constantly keep updated with our content, but sometimes life does get in the way. But this is a random pickle, and where we talk about a random topic and really rant about it, and see where we go. So you ready for this, Jonas?
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, so if you're in a backyard barbecue,
Sure.
do you go for the hot dog or do you go for the hamburger? Now, I'll let you answer that first, and then let's go and talk about what is a hot dog and what is a hamburger.
I mean, if I'm talking like just traditional backyard barbecue where we're doing no frills, everything. I'm assuming when you say that, it's just kind of everything's prepackaged, right? Like we're talking about like ballparks and maybe like Costco frozen burgers or something like that, patties.
Sure, let's start there.
If we start there, I mean, I think my answer would be pretty much. If I'm at a barbecue, it's usually a big event, so maybe I'll be, as Jim Gaffigan said, American and go for both. But I
It's it's
probably
a it's a hot dog or
right.
barbecue.
I probably would go just generally gravitate towards the burger.
Okay, okay. And so describe that burger. I mean, again,
If
whatever it is, backyard barbecue.
if we're talking typical backyard barbecue, we're probably talking about just like best case, you catch the guy at the grill, throw a slice of cheese on before it comes off the grill.
Okay.
Otherwise, just a cold piece of American, some iceberg, tomato slices, maybe some onions. Depends on how much they want to, do it. Depending on the type of barbecue, who's running it, how many people. I'm gonna guess you probably have that Heinz 3-in-1 condiment package from Costco. So
Yeah.
ketchup, mustard, mayo, or ketchup, mustard, relish. Well, That's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, so yeah, I mean, I guess, you're talking about like really the quintessential wimpy, sad backyard barbecue burger. But even
Sure.
then, you would still go for the burger over the hot dog.
I mean, the thing is that I really personally like A, the flavor of tomatoes, and B, just kind of that crisp freshness of the lettuce, which you're probably, even if you go pretty all out with hot dog toppings, like diced onions and all of that sort of stuff, uh, all else kind of held equal, right?
Hmm.
Assuming you put in about as much effort into the burger as you do into the hot dog in terms of just the prep work.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably still go for the burger.
Okay. So interestingly, the hot dog, right?
Hmm.
It's sometimes it's called the Frankfurter,
Hmm.
or the Wiener, kind of come from Germany and,
Hmm.
and, and Vienna, Austria. So like really had that Germanic root, right? And so it kind of was brought to the Midwest. From Wikipedia, brought to the Midwest by a German immigrant, and so around the 1800s. So it's been quite a while.
Sure.
And I don't know, like it's, even though it has this kind of Germanic root, it's so like American now that like it's always going to be a hot dog or a hamburger, either at the ballpark or at the backyard barbecue, any kind of cook off. I have a friend on Facebook that actually Andrea on Facebook. She had that Family Feud thing. Like what's the top food you see at a cook off? And of course I have to answer burger, but truthfully, if we think about it, the hot dog is always gonna be there, right?
I think the hot dog's a little easier. They just comes pre-made. I think we think of it more as American because I think the American style of kind of bun and toppings is well, that style seems to be more American. I know I'm not an expert, but I know that like schnitzel or Wurst in Germany is often served as like an entree dish. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to fork and knife it.
Like a main protein.
Right. So you would eat it the same way. Like it would be served kind of. It would kind of be the hot dog equivalent of like a Salisbury steak to a burger, right? The way they
Yeah. Okay.
serve it.
Yeah.
And so, in that sense, when we think hot dog, right? Because when you see that like when you think hot dog in America, you will always think, you always include the bun, right?
Yeah.
And so in that sense, that putting it onto that piece of bread makes it kind of that become a handheld food and makes it a little different, I think.
Okay. Well, so I guess my reasoning for a hot dog is a little different.
Okay.
Um, I come from Hong Kong, have a
Hmm.
Hong Kong kind of barbecue mentality where, so instead of having a cook, cooking your burgers or hot dogs, we would be gathered around kind of this fire pit with these like metal forks where
Hmm.
you would fork your own or like skewer your own whatever you want, whether it's chicken wings or hot dogs or like thin slices of beef, slash beef steak, and then you start to grill it over the open flame. And
Okay.
so, in that culture, of Hong Kong style barbecue, because you're cooking your own food, right?
Hmm.
So you kind of have to plan out how you eat. If you throw on a chicken wing first, like the first 5 minutes, you're gonna be waiting there for a long time for that chicken wing to cook and for you to eat your first bite. So almost always you gravitate towards hot dogs, and like fish balls, which is like fish meatballs,
Hmm.
and then you cook it because they cook so fast. One, they're par cooked, and two, they just cook faster, right? And so for me, that's kind of the reason why. Oh, like immediately in my mind, I think hot dog equals fast, which is kind of true, right? I mean, even
Sure.
though a burger patty you can cook it in like four minutes or so,
Yeah,
but
definitely you
still,
can take a hot dog off a lot sooner, right? Like it just depending, right? And it doesn't, certainly there is an optimal kind of time you want the hot dog on there for it to kind of spread and
yeah.
you know, but it's I think it's not as appreciably noticeable if you like quote unquote undercook a hot dog versus like a burger or
Yeah.
another major piece of
Well,
protein.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I guess for me, it's expediency is one of them, and aside from that, there's just less mental load for me to do a hot dog because
Sure.
it's mostly going to be ketchup, and mustard and maybe a little bit of sweet relish. And really that's it, and that's a really good hot dog already.
It is.
Versus a burger, you have to add a little bit more, in my opinion,
Sure.
to make it kind of a decent meal.
Sure.
So that's really why I gravitate towards a hot dog over the burger.
Yeah, I can see that, especially if you have to like cook your own meat. Like for me, cause the way you describe Hong Kong barbecue is very similar to like yakiniku or Korean barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
And there, right, like you're just about because you have to cook and eat at the same time. You're just all for like what can I do quickly, right? And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
in Korean barbecue, a lot of people gravitate towards the kaibi, the short ribs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But those generally take a little longer. And for me, if I'm at a yakiniku place, like I would gravitate towards what the samgyeopsal or the pork belly, right? Because it's really thin, cooks really fast. You just throw it on, flip it once, and then it's good to go. And
Mm-hmm.
so, in that regards, I definitely understand if I have to think about both cooking and eating kind of at the same time, right? Not I don't have to just worry about constructing my burger or my food, but I have to worry about like did I cook it enough kind of thing. Yeah, I can see the hot dog being a
Yeah, yeah. So I think we're gonna have a bigger episode, a longer episode on the hot dog itself. But
okay.
one awesome hot dog that I've had, kind of in throughout my life.
Hmm.
Um, I was in Vancouver,
Okay.
and alone because it was during the years where my wife and I didn't have kids yet, and therefore we went back to Hong Kong. And then on the way back, she stayed a little bit longer in Hong Kong with her family, and then I flew back, via Air Canada, and then I stopped at Vancouver for like 2 days for myself, and then I
Mm-hmm.
came back. And so there's this place called Japadog, which is like a Japanese inspired hot dog, or Japanese style hot dog.
Okay.
And so what they did was they added like Kewpie, mayo, so a little bit
Okay.
more sweet, a little
Yeah.
less
Right.
tangy, and also with some nori, like seaweed, and then like
Mm-hmm.
sesame, and then a little bit of teriyaki sauce. Oh my gosh,
That sounds
it's
really
really
no. I
good.
mean, that sounds really good. It's basically like an okonomiyaki dog, right?
Yeah, it's really good. And I've been making it since. We had a church gathering a few years
Mm-hmm.
back, and I made it, and because a lot of us haven't been to Vancouver, and
Sure.
had that, and it was just like what is this? This is really good. The right amount
Yeah.
of tanginess and savoriness and sweetness, and yeah, it was like wow, really
Yeah,
good.
there's a lot of. I think if you haven't tried it, I know it's a little harder to find and it's a little more expensive, but the Kewpie mayo is very significantly different than your typical like Hellman's or Best Foods
Hmm.
American mayo, and it really does make a difference. I know a lot of people. When they make their tuna salads, right? They no longer can go back. They've used Kewpie. They can no longer go back to right your normal mayo.
Yeah, and I so part of it, my wife and I, we like to kind of dissect the foods that we eat, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when we find very like just amazing um, like condiments or whatever, right? We would figure out, I wonder how this is made, and so for the mayo itself, I think there is a certain amount of spice in there that is different, and I know that like Miracle Whip also has a little bit of spice, like paprika in it as well. Thousand Island for sure, but yeah, it's there's this like nice little subtle spiciness in that mayo that really kicks it up a notch. Not spicy like hot, but you know.
There's something about it, right? Like there's a little. It's definitely sweeter, and
Hmm.
it definitely doesn't like while it feels denser, it doesn't feel as heavy. I think as American mayo, and it has this little bit of tanginess. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's this weird thing where like when you see it on something and you ask it, right? It's this white strip, and you're like, what is that? And you're just like, it's just try it, right? It's
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of I don't know how to describe it. To me, like the closest that I can describe it for someone that hasn't tried it before, it's kind of like somewhere between mayo and like cream cheese.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say maybe you can get 75% there by adding a little bit more sugar in your typical best foods mayo.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same, but at least you can
Right.
kind of kick that tanginess and that kind of over the top egginess out of
Yeah,
it.
it's something that's very distinctly, I think, Japanese, right? It's like when I'm cooking noodles, for example, and I want it to have there's this like I don't know what it is, but then you add something because to me it's kind of like that additional. There's no alcohol, but it's almost like that additional sweetness you get when you're cooking. You add a little bit of like mirin to something,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
and it's kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the funny part, right? Because we're talking about this condiment, and
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, I think a hot dog is somewhat defined by its condiments. Again,
Okay.
if you go straight by just your ketchup and your mustard and your kraut or uh, relish, yeah, sure. But if you upgrade that, for example, you go for Russian mustard or deli mustard, Dijon mustard, honey mustard, suddenly your hot dog is upgraded to a new level. And same thing with like cream pie mayo and a few other things.
Yeah, I think it's like the hot dog in itself is just so simple that it doesn't take much to kind of up it. And the other thing is right, like, yeah, I can't really think of like a situation where I would want like a naked hot dog. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Uh,
Well, I
uh,
mean, would you want a naked burger?
I think there is a way that like you can kind of up the ante of the beef enough, or at least like okay, so maybe not naked in the sense of like would I eat maybe like just a burger with cheese on top and no condiments, like maybe,
Yeah. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
More so than just like a hot dog, right?
You
So,
mean
so
like White Castle, uh, White Castle slider, like frozen
yeah,
ones?
sure.
Um, then that gets me thinking though
Hmm.
that I wonder if you can upgrade the hot dog. Of course, using maybe a better casing, different spices inside
Sure.
the sausage itself.
I mean,
Or
I don't know if you've ever tried this, right? Like, some people they do it, they just buy the just nicer sausage, right? Like, so hot
mm-hmm.
Italian. So when we used to do, our church used to do barbecues, right? We would have hot dogs, but then what everyone would be clamoring for would be we would barbecue hot links.
Okay,
So that in and of itself, right? There's flavor inside of the, the sausage, the hot dog in and of itself.
but you know what I'll go into, right? Like, is that a hot dog anymore, or is
Sure.
that a hot link
Is
sandwich?
sure. Sure. That's a fair question. Um, I mean, we treat it kind of like a hot dog, so it's hard to say, right? Like, similar question of, what is a burger and kind of that philosophy. So,
Eh, I mean, like the form itself of using Louisiana hot links is that it does look like a hot dog, and also it does for the most part taste like a hot dog too. Of
sure.
course, it's just like elevated, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I would.
What
I
part do
mean,
you make like bologna so gourmet that it's not bologna anymore? Right? Or like spam.
yeah. So it's hard to say, but hot dog is even more amorphous than a burger itself. So I think yeah, but but again, going back to the original, I would gravitate towards the hot dog just because
Okay.
it's simpler.
Yeah, it is harder to get wrong, right? I think that's my general take, right? So if you have a threshold of like, a burger from like really bad to really good, right? I
Hmm.
think that spectrum is much wider for a burger than for a hot dog.
Yeah, can you overcook a hot dog? I mean, besides getting it burnt and all that.
Like especially if like you do like the typical, so like my favorite hot dogs, at least the ones that I recall the best outside of, like Costco kielbasa, but would be like, those hot dog stands, those hot dog carts in like New York City with the foot long
Yeah.
hot dogs and like put whatever you want on it. And those are typically like boiled. And so if you're boiling your hot dogs, then I don't think you can overcook it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of boiled hot dogs. I don't mind it,
Sure.
especially there's a special kind of unique feeling of going to New York City and then getting a hot dog from the hot dog stand. But um, I I in general I like things
Yeah,
charred a little bit.
sure. Yeah,
Just
I think outside of like in terms of just like overcooking it in the same way you would overcook a steak or a burger, I don't think that's possible.
okay. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, it is harder to mess up. Okay, soggy bun, of course, right? We'll throw
Sure.
that out there.
Sure.
Soggy bun and
I mean, yeah, if it's
maybe the
like
wrong
black,
condiments
right? If it's like black
burnt.
and basically, like you dehydrated the whole thing, then maybe.
Well, um, Chinese salami hot dog. Anyway, well,
Okay.
yeah, I guess the question is, back to you guys. Would you do a hot dog or a burger during a barbecue, and why? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
Figure out what you like, what you don't like, and or just tell us, hey, why don't you talk about this in the next episode? Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon and check out our other videos, which we will link, I think, here. I'm gonna try this.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe it'll be on this way anyway.
Or maybe it'll be on my side.
Maybe. Anyway, see you guys next time.
See ya.
Ciao.